Hello, everybody. I'm Kenny Zagira, Chairman Kenya Cybersecurity and Forensic Association. Today, we are really delighted to bring to you this webinar on 3rd September 2020, dubbed Prevention and Detection of Online Child Radicalization During COVID-19 and even after. We'd want you to listen to an expert from National Counterterrorism Center. That is Captain Gadira, really explaining these points, dissecting it to the lowest minimum so that you can be able to understand what you need to do with your brother, sister, children when they are at home during this period, because we are concerned as they are staying home for the longest time, they are idle and they become very susceptible to some of these unwanted tendencies. Stay tuned and enjoy. Thank you so much. Over to you, Captain.
Privileged, and I'm very grateful to be with you here to take you through this very hot issue as of now. So I'll just share my screen. Kenz, you can confirm if you can be able to see it.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Please proceed.
So I'll cover this topic today of online radicalization and violent extremism in the wake of COVID-19. As I've said, my name's Captain Gadiro from NCTC. I'm sure I'll start off with a quote from a general in the US who said that the development of global communications technology, in this case, digital video and cyberspace, has diminished the importance of geographical proximities for violent extremists. In other words, this is to say that an extremist in any part of the world can be able to reach his message can be able to reach out to any corner of this world through the different medias that we have. So the cyberspace has changed a lot of things. This will be my brief scope for what I'm intending to cover. I'm sure most of us have not heard about NCTC. So NCTC is the National Counterterrorism Center. And it's a government institution, a multi-agency institution, whose mandate is to, it's a multi-agency whose mandate are as follows. It's a multi-agency instrument whose instrument primarily for security agencies intended to provide and coordinate mechanisms for countering terrorism. So we coordinate mechanism for countering terrorism. It was to coordinate terrorism, counterterrorism. It was then established in law under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, POTA. By law, the National Security Council appoints the NCTC director and decides on adding on its multi-agency characters. It is under the executive office of the president. Its reporting line is through the chief of staff to the president. Its headquarters are in Nairobi. So what do we do? We national counterterrorism efforts, conduct public awareness on prevention of terrorism. We come up with strategies to counter radicalization and foster we facilitate capacity building in countering terrorism and prevention. And we coordinate with other government agencies to provide security certifications for aviation schools. This was after the Twin Towers bombing that was carried out using an aircraft. So the government saw there is need to know what people are learning in these aviation schools. So I'll start off maybe to break the ice. I know we are all technical guys here, but I would like to pose a few questions as we continue, or some few disclaimers, like what is the internet? What is this thing that we call the internet? Maybe basically, or to start with this, to say that the internet is a protocol that provides the connection of the different electronic gadgets that we have. That is on layman's. The internet is used to connect the different gadgets that we have. This is a study by Hotsuit that shows the internet penetration in different areas of the world. Of importance to us is the East African region, where we've got 23% of internet penetration, of which most of it is in Kenya. So after having the internet, we have devices and we have the internet. What next? This interconnection of these different devices in different parts of the world, they conceptualize an electronic space that is not bound by distance or any physical limitation. This is what we call the cyberspace. The cyberspace is what enables one to communicate with a person maybe in a different continent, in a different part of this world. The cyberspace is not bound by any distance or any physical limitations. So in this case, we do not have rivers or weather or anything that is limiting us. So in this cyberspace or in this cyber world, as we have the normal world and we have normal activities that take place, also in the cyberspace, we have got the same activities. So we've got crimes that happen over the cyberspace that are facilitated by the internet. We've got cybercrime, that is crime that takes place in the cyberspace. We've got cyber terrorism. Apparently, there is no true definition of terrorism. There are different acts that try to define terrorism. There is violent extremism and propaganda. Who is a terrorist? A terrorist is a person who intends to cause fear, one who controls, dominates, coerces through the use of force, maybe to further an agenda, political or social, to attain a certain objective. So in the same case that we have terrorists, we also have got cyber terrorists as depicted by the cartoons I have there. In the cyber world, cyber terrorists are people who use electronic devices and the internet to carry out acts of fear, to try and control and dominate in order to push a certain political or social agenda. Violent extremists are people who upload or use the cyberspace to upload material that is of violence, that can lead one being through the radicalization cycle. Extremists. This is where one can be told to go and carry out an attack. Some few definitions of what radicalization is. Radicalization is not a one-time thing. It's something that it's a gradual process. It's a phased process that employs ideological conditioning of persons and groups in order to socialize them or group them or cluster them into becoming violent extremists and finally recruit them into terrorist groups or campaigns in order for them to further a certain agenda. Being extreme is having strong beliefs towards a certain doctrine or towards a certain teaching or belief. A violent extremist, as I had said earlier, refers to actions of someone who has become radicalized and who is prepared to engage. This is someone who is ready to put on a suit, a bomb suit, to go and blow up himself at a certain hotel or in the market. Someone who is ready to go and kill people in maybe in a school, people of his age. Someone who is ready to train or gather his village mates, boys and girls, and take them to a certain group and teach them how to fight for a certain agenda. So, in the wake of COVID, there are certainly identified drivers that lead to radicalization, but
Ibrahim, you're breaking.
I'll be presenting on specifically on radicalization. What are the drivers of radicalization during this COVID-19 period? So one of the main drivers that has COVID-19 period is the disruption of interventions. Okay. Can you hear me well now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you can get you clear. Yes, you can get you clear.
Okay. Okay. Let me continue. So I'm saying, what are the drivers of radicalization during this COVID-19 period? One, what has increased or what can lead to has also exposed our children, home-based schooling, in that there is increased online presence for children to carry out their to learn. So these extremists have a pool of young students who are online learning, and they can easily prey on them or start recruiting them over the internet. There is also lack of monitoring. You'll see in schools, teachers are able to monitor the students as well as parents. But now while schools are closed, some of these children do not have that close monitoring, and they are prone to being radicalized or being recruited into violent extremist groups. There is misuse of resources. There is an organization like Safaricom that has been giving out bundles for students to learn. But you find these bundles are being used to carry out other activities. Maybe someone is doing a research on the internet or researching on a certain topic that is of extremism. There has been a lot of idleness. People have not been reporting to work. People have not, their daily routines have been disrupted. So you'll find some youths are not engaged, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So you'll find them online. I'll show you guys some statistics of internet usage beginning of this year up to this COVID-19 period. There's a lot of loss of jobs. So there's a lot of hopelessness. During the radicalization phase or cycles, these recruiters look for people that are disgruntled with the society. So with the increased pool of unemployed or people who have lost jobs this online elect from, or to choose from, or to recruit from. In other words, there has been cessation of movement in hotspot areas. Extremists took advantage of this, especially with the close down of Old Town in Mombasa and Isili, and started bringing out a different narrative or some misinformation rather than what the government intended. But these are things that maybe would lead to radicalization of youths who do not get to know the truth. There's a lot of misinformation and fake news out there, a lot of speculation. During this period, after any pandemic or in any situation, we've got different impacts that follow that situation of pandemic. What will be the short-term impacts what are the short-term impacts in this COVID-19 period in regards to radicalization and violent extremism? One, there is a governance vacuum, which may be filled in by the extremist groups, as maybe the national or the responsible agencies or people who are mandated to do that have been restricted, since the national government or the national and county governments are stretching their resources towards containing COVID-19. The pandemic may also be used to validate a particular worldview. There was a certain narrative that the corona pandemic has been brought about maybe to punish a certain group of people. These are extremist content that they are putting out there, and they know there is a great audience since most people are idle. The pandemic can be used by opportunists to carry out an attack. These are accelerators of trouble, or I would say accelerators of grief. They can use this pandemic maybe to accelerate something, since they know that the government and everyone is so concerned about COVID. Social restrictions may also provide a captive audience that will be a recipe of radicalization, since people have got so many restrictions. They're not able to go to their social places. They're not able to go for their sporting activities. So this idle time or this free time can be used as a recipe for radicalization, maybe to fill in that space that has been there. I'll take you through the social media as a survey that has been carried out by one of the leading universities in Kenya on the how social media has been consumed from the beginning of this year and during this COVID-19 period, and the impact that it might have. The survey was carried out in 22 counties, as shown on this map. So this is the social media, Kenyan social media landscape conducted during this, from the beginning of this year and during COVID period. WhatsApp is the most used social media platform. To note is that Facebook has had a great decline of 6.8% in 20 years in comparison to the previous and 2019 and 2020. YouTube is the third leading. I'm sure you can all see there is TikTok, which is a new entrant. TikTok just came in after the COVID-19 pandemic. That's when it has started being popular in Kenya. We've got other professional social media sites like LinkedIn and all that. This data can be used to try and analyze how extremists can use the cyberspace to reach out to people. YouTube has got video content and has been used before to propagate or to spread out extremist material. I'm sure all of us know about the London Marathon attack that took place. I think it was in 2012 or 2013 there. The perpetrators of that attack learned how to make the homemade bombs from YouTube. There was a documentary that was known as The Lone Wolf that had been uploaded by extremists that showed one how to make, how to carry out an attack, how it was showed how to radicalize a person and becoming an extremist, and how to make a bomb and carry out an attack. So during this period of COVID-19, we need to take care of what content is there. The relevant authorities, how do they monitor? Another example of Facebook, there was an attack during the New Zealand church attack, where the attacker was streaming live as he was attacking the mosque, as he was shooting down people. So how are extremists using these social media platforms to reach out to the different people? We've got a survey of the different social media platforms and the age that uses these platforms. I hope you can all note that the age between 21, 25, and 36, 35 are the most users of social media platforms. Also, these are the people who have been affected most by the COVID-19. These are the people who've lost their jobs. These are the people who are out of the technical colleges, who are out of colleges and all that. So these people can be used as targets, or they can be targeted using social media. During the survey, it was noted that mobile phones are the most used devices to access social media. I'm sure all of us, each one of us, his or her mobile phone is less than 2 rulers away from him or he or she. So the weapons that are being used are the weapons that are close to us. What kind of content do you access over your mobile phone? What kind of content is your kid accessing using your mobile phone? What sites is he or she visiting? Who is she talking to? The kind of people that he or she on how I'm not saying social media platforms are bad, but we need to be cautious on how we use them. Close monitoring of our kids and on what they're using the mobile phones for. I'm sure most of us know phishing. Phishing is where one can use social media to maybe gather information about someone, or maybe let me say also about social engineering. So with a mobile phone, one can even befriend a colleague or your own kid or a brother or a sister to try and gather some information about you, maybe get your bank details, maybe get a picture, or maybe install something in your mobile phone that will be used to relay some information. So we need to monitor and see how are we using our mobile device. An interesting survey that has been carried out by TransUnion International shows that as a result of COVID, there has been social distancing. People have not been visiting markets, not been visiting malls. People have not been going to their workplaces. And this has resulted to online, people consuming online. And this has created an appetite for online fraudsters as well. So people are transacting online, they are buying things via M-Pesa, and all this, my online bank transfers. But this has created an opportunity for fraudsters. There has been an increase, a 23% increase in global, this is global e-commerce, since WHO declared the first, declared COVID-19 as an outbreak. Declared COVID-19 as an outbreak. This has also increased the number of cyber criminals who are trying to take advantage of this. So we need to be careful as we e-commerce. As I said, what happens in the real world also happens in the cyberspace. So as you see, maybe there are consters or fraudsters who come up with innovative ways after something new has come up. Also in the cyberspace, you've got people who are very creative and innovative. To notice that these fraudsters or these cyber criminals use this money to do different things. They use it maybe to finance terrorism. They use it to buy weapons. They use it for trafficking and things that are not against our society norms. There's another interesting survey that has been carried out in Kenya and shows that online harassment is rampant, more in the low income earning people, with a rate of 47.6%. So most of middle income at 28.5, that 23.9 at high income. So the most vulnerable people are the low income people. And these are the people who are being harassed on social media platforms. So extremists take advantage of this situation, and we have got things like cyber prey. They prey on these people, give them material, give them hope, and recruit them online with an intention, with false information that they are going to change their lives. They're going to give them a good livelihood after this. But they end up gaining, these extremist groups end up gaining by recruiting these people who eventually become extremists. There's a guy called Michael Doran. He was a chief of the Middle East and North Africa affairs in the United States. He said, he made this quote that the web has created conditions that make it possible for individuals who are not personally known to each other, but who are limited by the same ideology, to coordinate actions in pursuit of it. The internet, therefore, is more than just a tool of terrorist organization. It is the primary repository of the essential resources of sustaining the culture of terrorism. As I've said in my previous slides, the cyberspace is not bound by any physical location or space. I can be having a certain ideology here and another person in a different continent. We have the same ideology, and we will exchange and we will work in pursuit of that. We will work and coordinate in pursuit of that ideology. So this is another emphasis on knowing, and we've seen that mobile phones are the most used to access social media. We need to know what are we accessing on social media? What our kids are accessing on social media? What ideology are they coordinating on or about? I'll give you some tips of signs of radicalization. These are general tips of signs of radicalization, not only during the COVID period, but these are general tips. If you see one has gained some certain interests in a strange religion, in this case, not only religion, but a certain ideology. Someone has become anti-established or uncooperative with authorities. There are certain queer behaviors. unpredictable temperaments that are not normal with a person, people segregating themselves, intolerance to certain views, and this person was not like this maybe like a month or 2 months ago. Someone has gained some new habits, increased complaints about a certain ideology or towards government, towards religious groups, and that these are ungrounded complaints. Sympathies, someone sympathizing with terrorist ideologies and strategies, one who maybe celebrates after an attack has taken place, after a killing has taken place. These are not, I'm not saying these are the actual signs of radicalization, but these are tips that can point out someone who is being radicalized. There is a chart that shows the different phases of radicalization as well. So, in conclusion, what is the way forward? What we need to do during this COVID-19 period? Since the government now has opened the restrictions, maybe, but they still curfew, we need to resort to online platforms to send out counter messaging, to send out messages or counter narratives using the online platforms, local media, send out CVE messages out there to counter what is getting to our youth, what is getting to our children, what is getting out there to the general public. Because I'm sure extremist groups are sending out material. The government also needs to sensitize, and it's doing that through NCTC and other organizations, sensitizing people on extremists and how radicalization takes place. And then another interesting issue is what is the role of the private sector in countering narratives? What is the role of the private sector in countering radicalization and violent extremism? You find in many cases the private sector is very much affected when a terrorist activity attack happens. Maybe if you attack a mall, that's an investment of someone. If you attack a communication mast and all that, what is the role? I would urge them maybe also to take up this fight in countering extremist messages and sending out narratives there to increase patriotism and also caution our young people against being radicalized and being recruited into these groups. Yes. I think that's my conclusion after a very long presentation. Know if we have got. I open this floor for any discussions. Are we still there?
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Yes.
Thank you for that concise discussion and presentation. Now we open it up for questions, and this is how we'll go about it. Number one, there are questions already in the chat, so we'll give prominence to the questions that are already in chats. Thereafter, if somebody has something to ask, you can just raise a hand. There's that option of raise your hand, and then we'll apportion the questions accordingly. So please, you can now proceed to the chats. I think there are questions there. Are you already there?
Are you reading them out or I read them out?
Okay. Just read them out. Just read them out.
There's one who is asking how to become a member of KEFSA.
Now that one I'll answer after a while. Go to the next.
Okay. Yes, I'll be able to share the presentation. That is okay. There's a good question here of about the trends of radicalization among the youth. during this, what can be done to at least eradicate this issue. As I've said, due to the government containment measures, a lot of radicalization is now happening online in the cyberspace. So what can be done, or the most prudent thing, is to try and counter these narratives. If it's among your children, try and monitor what they're accessing online, who are they chatting, what kind of material are they receiving from these unknown friends. With this, we can be able to control the level of messaging that is getting to our kids, that is getting to our youth.
I'm not sure. The other question, is it really, that one is not a question as such, it's a concern, no? But about the concern?
It's a concern.
Without the concern, I think the government authorities are also listening to this. Right now, people are so much.
There's also an issue of privacy of mobile phones.
I think that we can read it out.
Mobile phones are private and difficult to understand. They are used by children, especially those who feel mature. How possible is it for adults to monitor activities of youth and children? Is there a way government can restrict the access points of children, such as sites for children, phones, or gadgets? So I agree that phones are private gadgets. So my advice will be, you as a parent, you need to take a parenting role. During this digital era, most parents have abandoned their parenting role, and this is what extremist groups are taking advantage of. They know that if I send a certain video to a child who is 20 years, chances that that parent will not be able to get that phone. So as a parent, you need to protect your kid. You need to check, maybe covertly or incovertly, what is your children accessing. Also, you can also check out for signs. I've mentioned some few radicalization signs. If you see, maybe it's a child, maybe it's your brother, your sister who is in the university, the certain behavioral changes. You need maybe to see that as a sign to something big that is happening. If there is increased use of phones, one maybe locks he or herself in the bedroom and is on mobile phone or is on laptop, you need to maybe take this to the next level, maybe consult, get to a government office that is relevant to this, and will be able to pick up an advice. Simiu has made a very good comment here. He's saying that in his tour of duty, they found out that recruiters are using social media to radicalize. How do we increase patriotism? Patriotism is in. I agree with you. We need to increase patriotism in the sense that if I've noted my neighbor's kid is having some funny behaviors, what do I do? So to increase patriotism, I think it's something that as a people of Kenya or as citizens, it's something that needs to be inbound. Try to work on it as a people, because it's something that truly is having some doubt. It's something that is lacking. What is the probability of children being radicalized in the context of COVID-19? There has been a lot of narratives that have been sent out there that COVID-19 has been sent by God, by Allah, to punish a certain group of people. If you continue following them, you will die. You will follow their footsteps. So you need to join us. You need to join a certain group. You need to join a certain sect. So COVID-19 has been interpreted by these extremist groups to propagate falsehoods in order to win hearts and souls of young people. These are suggestions from Chris Otieno, Jonas James.
There was another question up there on how is it easy to report this issue of radicalization? And then there's another on how can technology help to fight this radicalization behavior in Kenya? You can attend to that.
Yeah, to report their hotline numbers, you can report to the 999 hotline numbers. You can also get into the NCTC website and report their ATPU website. The other question was, how can industry?
Can you repeat that again? How can they report this? Those who are writing, they can write.
I've said they can report through the hotline numbers, the Kenya Police hotline numbers. You can also report through the ATPU website and NCTC's website. Also through the NCTC social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook. Someone will pick it up and will be able to assist.
Okay, I see questions are really coming hot here. The issue of technology, how can technology help?
How can
technology help to fight this radicalization behavior in Kenya?
Yes, we can use technology to fight radicalization. We can use the same technology to counter narratives that are being sent out there. We can use the same media platforms to send out activities. The same social media platforms that are being used maybe for recruitment and radicalization are being used by other people as a source of employment. We've got so many, nowadays in Kenya, we've got so many bloggers, we've got so many content creators who are uploading their materials on YouTube and all that and getting paid for that. So on the flip side of the coin, social media can be used to gain as an income generating tool for this youth. I remember the Ministry of ICT was saying that it's trying to increase connectivity so that people can use the internet as a source of income.
Okay. Then it's so related to, has it been integrated to our curriculum?
I'm sure people from NCTC will add on that things to do with the radicalization are being integrated into our curriculum. I think this COVID-19 issue is the one that slowed down the process, but I'm sure there's something that is being done so that it can be integrated into something is being done to integrated into our curriculum.
Your microphone has been unmuted.
Sorry for that. Technology.
Yeah, technology, it's okay. So I think there's a good comment here from Josephine that patriotism could be increased when adults and leaders should take all the important role of children development by being role models, socialize children to love their country and to express love. I'm not still sure whether we still sing the national anthem on a daily basis in our schools, but this was something that was bringing a lot of patriotism back then and the loyalty pledge.
Okay. Then the other question, I think in the interest of time, because, sorry, the listeners, the presenter he has to leave in a short while. Maybe he can explain himself. So how many questions can you handle and then we let you go?
Maybe I can handle 3 in the interest of time, but maybe what I can do, I can share my email address if someone has got a question. we'll be able to respond to it. I can see we have some people from NCTC around who will also take note.
Okay, thank you. So you just pick 3 questions, you answer, and then guys, we love to let him go. It's still call of duty, and we appreciate that he has found his time to really attend to this. Please, Ibrahim, you can pick 3 questions here, and then we let you go.
We've answered the ones on text. Maybe I thought we have someone who wants to answer a question, ask a question.
Okay. So what we do? Can we see hands? Yeah, if there are hands which there are raised hands. No.
Then let me share my email address.
You can do that in the chat. Actually,
Yeah.
For those who have these questions, you can just do your email in the chat. As we do that.
Yes, Josephine, we can be able to organize through the platform provided by Kenzie and team. We can be able to organize a conference to educate children on cyber safety, some good practices online, what to look out for, cyber hygiene and device hygiene as well.
I think in the chat I've also I've also shared our email there, so you can also share your email here.
Yes, I've shared my email as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to those who might not be able to answer all the questions, please just shoot the questions over through emails. We'll attend to them. Any person who wants to say something? I'm just looking at hands.
Hello?
Hi.
Odanga is lucky, so Odanga, let's attend to you. You can put your video on.
No, I'm in a very dark place, so
No problem, Odanga. Proceed.
okay. So I just had a question about just thank you very much for the presentation, Ibrahim. I really appreciate it.
Karibu, welcome.
So I just wanted to I wanted to ask, because I'm a journalist, and I just wanted to ask a few questions about some specifics. Like, do you have any tips that you can share with anyone who's investigating these groups on where do you find them? What kind of habits and ecosystems in social media do they tend to use? Do they use Facebook groups? Do they use messenger chats? How exactly does one go about trying to observe the habits of such kinds of people? Thank you very much also for sharing your email. Probably I'll try see if I can contact you about that. But maybe if you can give a bit of a surface level insight into how these things exactly work, that would definitely be appreciated.
Okay. These extremist groups use different medias or different platforms to reach out or to recruit people. There are different known organizations or groups that are out there that have got content or materials that are there to lure young people into joining them. The challenge that we have is that in this digital era or in this cyberspace era, we cannot be able to get the physical location or know where they are about, where their whereabouts. But I will say a group like there's a group known as cyber jihadists. These are group that uploads jihadist material online and has been able to mutate into different groups. Remember, there are also things like the dark web. where people are able to hide and are able to target very specific targets whom they are able to whom they prey on in the cyber realm or in the cyberspace.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll reach out on mail in case I have any more questions. I hope you don't mind.
Anytime.
Okay, guys, that is it now. In the interest of time, I'll most of the questions are rotating around technology. And luckily, we also have technology guys in the house. By that I mean we also have the national KSAT, the Computer Incident Response Team members are also in the house. I would like to just hear from Joseph Zanu. Can you say hi?
Hi, Kenneth. How are you doing? Thank you so much, Ibrahim, for that wonderful presentation. I think I worked with Ibrahim some time back, and we collaborate together. We have a good relationship with the NCTC, and it's great that we are building capacity in this area. With regards to materials on online protection, you can also visit the National KSAT website. That's www.ksat.go.k. I will type it, and we have been of late printing a lot of materials with regard to child online protection. Thank you so much, Kenneth, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zano. And I know Rose Mwangi from Children Department. That is, hello. No, we may have lost her. But guys, thank you so much for the questions that we've shared our emails, and I believe we'll respond to them accordingly. Somebody asked a question: how does one join even Kenya Cybersecurity and Forensic Association? Guys, this is a membership-based organization that brings together law enforcement teams. So if you are in law enforcement team, you are eligible. It brings together legal practitioners. So if you are in that line of law, whether a judge, magistrate, a lawyer, you are eligible. And also brings together people are in ICT. So, you know, so ICT, you have various practitioners. You become eligible. Reason why we feel cybersecurity, ensuring cyberspace is really a key component. Number two, we also feel at times our best practices are never enough. So, in fact, you've done so much, but then things get out of hand. So, what do? That's where now the issue of cyber forensic comes in. How do you even get that evidence? Now they have used mobile phone, they have used the CCTV cameras. How do you even bring that evidence to court of law? So the association is there to enable these interactions so that we may ensure a secure cyberspace and we take our country moving forward. And if you're keen, that's why you can see it's non-partisan and non-political. We collaborate with government and government so that we make cyberspace so secure. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. I know you had a very busy schedule, but we are grateful for your time. And guys, this is not the last one. We'll still have more sessions coming on this. And have a good night and a lovely night. For the presentation, this thing will be uploaded to YouTube thereafter, so you'll be able to access it. So feel free, nothing is lost. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.